Alright guys, before we get into the video, we're going to be doing a new giveaway.
The D&D Beyond Players Bundle.
In that bundle, we have the Player's Handbook, the Sword Coast Adventurer's Guide, Xander's Guide to Everything, and Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. So we're going to have tons of character options.
Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment down below on the video so you're entered to win a great giveaway coming from us very soon.
Alright guys, on to the video. Alright guys, welcome back to Urge. Moving on in the subclass series, on to the next subclass, which is the Swarmkeeper Ranger. So, if you're new to the channel, to the subclass series, what we're going to do is we're going to go through all the abilities gained in the subclass, then we're going to rate it based on its roleplay value, combat value, and overall class synergy, based on how the abilities gained in this subclass improve on the base class abilities. So, without any further ado, Alex, take it away.
Alright, so, starting off, we have a Gathered Swarm, which is, kind of what this whole thing's built around here. You have some sort of swarm of creatures kind of floating around you, and they assist you in combat and other things until you die. Then they just go away. You do get to choose the appearance of this, for flavor's sake. And again, if you want to be even more creative, I'm sure your DM's going to have no problem with that. Right. Because this part's just for flavor. Swarming insects, miniature twig blights, fluttering birds, or playful pixies. Whatever flavor you want to go with. Could be fireflies, whatever.
I mean, a lot of fireflies.
A lot of fireflies. So, once on each of your turn, you can use the swarm to assist you in one of the following ways. Immediately after you hit a creature with an attack, you can have the target take 1d6 piercing damage from a swarm, or you can force a target to make a strength saving throw against your spell save DC, or be moved horizontally 15 feet, direction of your choice, or you yourself are moved 5 feet horizontally in direction of your choice. And we did look up for clarification on this, because first thing we thought of was, okay, why would you use this? Move yourself 5 feet. Reason would be to get yourself out of opportunity attack range. Right. If you've been run up on something really, really big that likes to slap really hard, you can just all right, I'm going to hit this guy, take my free disengage, essentially, right, and then get the heck out of Dodge.
And that seems to be the consensus, because I think there's not been an official wording as of recording on this, but that's what seems to be what most DMs are agreeing to yeah. Is that,
because again, otherwise,
when you have push or pulled, forced movement does not provoke opportunity attacks, right. And this says you are moved by the swarm, so you're not willingly moving; it's forcing you away.
Even though you by choice are using that ability,
it's kind of like one of those gray, weird areas. But
otherwise,
like most people agree that
if you don't do it that way as that interpretation, you're really never going to use that ability.
Yeah, there's not really much reason to move.
You'd much rather try to force something else 15 feet away from you, or just deal the extra damage flat out. Also, at level 3, you get the Mage Hand cantrip, which seems like you're thinking, okay, whatever. Well, Rangers don't get cantrips normally.
This is correct.
Half-casters don't unless you're Artificers.
Because why not?
Because what? Because
they're new.
Because new stuff is cool. Yeah. But anyway, still cool the fact that you get a cantrip, you can do some fun things with it. And the hand takes the form of your swarming nature spirit, so it's just more of this whole swarming thing around you. You get Swarmkeeper spells. Besides Mage Hand and cantrip, you get Fairy Fire, which we've recently seen the effects of that. Anyway, Web, Gaseous Form, Arcane Eye, and Insect Plague. Insect Plague very much, again, with the flavor of subclass.
Very much so. Then at level 7, we have Writhing Tide. You can condense a part of the swarm into a focused mass that lifts you up. You gain 10 feet of flying speed as a bonus action, and can hover. The effect lasts for 1 minute or until you are incapacitated. Use this feature a number of times equal to your proficiency bonus. Regain all expended uses on a long rest. 10 feet of movement, flying. You're not going to be blazing through at Mach speed, but you will get there eventually.
And Jameson had a great illustration for this earlier. It was like, just imagine choosing the birds or the bugs, and you see them just straining to carry you. Just
yes. Great flavor on there. So
yeah, great.
Definitely do that if you play this.
Yes.
Anyways, not telling you what to do, but do that.
But you should do that.
Anyway, level 11, we have Mighty Swarm. The gathered swarm grows mightier. Increases the damage to 1d8. If a creature fails its saving throw against being moved by the swarm, you can also cause the swarm to knock the creature prone. So you can move them and knock them prone.
On the tuchus they go.
So talk about a knockback on there.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're moved by the gathered swarm, it gives you half cover, so +2 AC, until the start of your next turn. So it's a nice little way to just basically give yourself +2 AC almost permanently, as long as you're hitting with your attacks on there. And then lastly, at level 15, we have Swarming Dispersal. When you take damage, you can use your reaction to give yourself resistance to that damage. You can then vanish with your swarm and teleport to an occupied space you can see within 30 feet of you, where you reappear with the swarm. You can use this number of times equal to your proficiency bonus, regain all uses on a long rest. So resistance to any damage, pretty solid.
As a reaction, so it's like, oh, your DM rolled a natural 20 on the big boss's big melee attack. I'd like to half that damage. Thanks.
Make me Bugman. All right.
Yes.
So those are all the abilities gained in the subclass. So now move on to the rating portion. First up is the roleplay value. Asterisk, as always. When we're talking about roleplay value, we're talking about interacting with the world around you, interacting with NPCs, avoiding combat, non-combat scenarios, basically things outside the initiative order. Not talking about your class fantasy, history, lore, background. That's all on you as a player. Can't rate you as a player, but can rate these abilities gained in the subclass and how they might improve your potential in those roleplay circumstances. So, all of that being said, looking at this ranger, a lot of these abilities are focused on combat with a few niche use spells. There's a very tiny flying ability, but you can do it, and there is Mage Hand, so there's some minor stuff on the RP, but again, mostly focused on combat. Keep it short and sweet. And with a 2.5 out of 5 flumps for the roleplay value, as it does seem to be more focused on the combat side of things.
You do pick that swarm appearance, and you choose it how you want to, Dead.
Yes, that's what you got.
And as usual with most of these subclasses, if it's lacking, or we have found it wanting, on one side, it becomes a little higher scale than the other. And this is the case here as well. As James has said, definitely more focused on the combat side of things here. With your swarm, you have not one, not two, but 3 different choices. And if you guys have been fans of the channel long enough, you know that Alex likes his choices and versatility. So when you hit with an attack, you can then choose to do extra damage, push somebody away from you, or move yourself out of, again, current interpretation as of January 2021, last time I checked anyway, that this it basically allows you to get out of opportunity attack range and then move yourself without provoking the opportunity attack. Some free spells, Fairy Fire, again, recently saw in a one-shot that I did. That has some usage, giving advantage,
definitely.
Especially if you've got somebody else in the party that can grapple things and hold them in that spot.
Wombo.
Yeah.
Combo.
Isn't it fun when the person writing the one shot also makes the characters and doesn't see
the combos
that he then created?
Grapple and then Fairy Fire and then hide the rest of the time. The rest of your party's pretty happy about that.
Yeah.
So
anyway, Insect Plague also works with damage. Web slows in combat. Sure. The flying speed's probably not gonna be really useful in combat. I mean, you can
slowly get where you're trying to go.
You can hover. I mean, I guess if you're playing ranger, if you want to just hover for thematic sake, okay. Besides that, whatever. Of course, 11, your swarm's getting better, so you're doing more damage. Chance to knock something prone, which depending on there's a couple of unique ways we talked about you can play this.
Yes.
Like with crossbow expert, trying to you can basically give yourself a third attack. Or you can, or if you want to just knock something prone for somebody else and turn around and shoot something else at range, also works.
Right.
Because nothing makes a rogue happier than somebody else giving them guaranteed advantage because they've knocked something on its butt.
And see, the funny thing that I realized too is you can move it and knock it prone. So if the rogue can't quite get to something, you could shoot something and move it towards the rogue.
Move it to the
and
right.
make it prone. So you do something like that.
Or the
over here.
Yeah, or the barbarian doesn't have to use reckless attack to get advantage. He just rage cuts it into pieces. Or paladins getting hit confirmed smites with advantage. Every melee attacker loves advantage.
On prone.
Yeah, on prone. Yes.
Ranged people on prone, not so much.
Not so much. But you know it's there. And of course, then if you choose to get the move yourself away 5 feet, you also get the half cover. So if you really need the defensive. You're not really worried about the extra damage. You're just trying to make sure you stay alive. It's there too. Again, I like choices. And then the Swarming Dispersal is a very nice defensive that helps you both, not for just single target attacks, but also spell damage. Big chunk things. Yep. Somebody goes finger of death to your butt, you're like, I'm gonna half that damage. Yeah. The big boy rolls a crit on his big giant hammer that weighs half a ton. I'm gonna half that damage. Good defensive, help Ranger stay alive. Staying alive helps out your damage done and other things. So, as a total score, we went with a 4 out of a possible 5 flumps because lots of little help that slowly adds up. Free extra damage, free movement, choices for different abilities, little damage reduction, giving melee people's advantage.
Always fans of knocking things prone. Can be really good.
Because not only does it... Because
you can do it every turn.
Yeah, you do it every turn with no cost. It's just...
Yep. You hit something and they get...
Force a saving throw. Of course, if it's a big, angry idiot, he's probably not going to be knocked prone off. But you're going to...
You get the chance every turn if you want.
You get the chance, and you're going to know that. You're like, okay, if we're fighting a woolly mammoth, I'm probably not going to try to knock him on his butt. He's just going to take the extra D8 damage.
Right. All that being said, we'll move on to the overall class synergy. And with this... Rangers have a bit of an issue when it comes to synergy because their base class abilities are kind of meh, to say the least.
They leave you wanting.
Yes, they have favored terrain,
favored enemy,
natural enemy,
whatever it is.
Favored terrain. They're not that great. They have terrain and enemy things. That
Disappointed.
And they have some stuff with movement or going hide as bonus action, kind of stuff like that.
Ignoring difficult terrain.
Yeah, stuff like that. So movement kind of stuff. So. Kind of have a hard time synergizing, but with what we do have on here, we have some nice utility options coming from the Swarmkeeper.
Yep.
Though they are limited, some of them, the spells and things are, you're half-caster, so there's that. But then you have every turn the chance to knock something prone or move them around the battlefield.
Yep.
Can be really good if you're trying to get in range of something or get something out of range of you. And of course, you have the disengage kind of thing.
So keep you alive.
The bugs. Yeah. Keeping you alive if you want to go. Melee or ranged, or do a combo with a crossbow expert kind of thing where you have a hand crossbow.
Play that
sword.
Be that guy. Play that weird mid-rangey thing that there's not a lot of opportunities. Like Sun Soul Monk is the other one that comes to mind. Fill that niche that nobody else does. Be that person who kind of floats in that middle area.
So with all these kinds of things and options available with utility and your, plus 2 AC kind of thing can be good as well. All that being said, we went with a 3.5 out of 5 on the class synergy. Pretty solid, but nothing super crazy going on here that's synergizing with your base class abilities. Mainly because your base class abilities don't really have a whole lot going for them.
It more helps out the combat side of what Ranger does.
Right.
Gives it more choices, more versatility, and survivability, things like that.
Yes, a little bit more battlefield control.
Yes.
But all that being said, we'll try to wrap this video up. But before we wrap it up, we have the quote from Tasha.
I almost forgot again. I'm going a bad streak of that, of forgetting this.
So, what's she say on this one?
I love insects. Organized, relentless, specialized little champions, and aligning their single-minded will with your own. Beautiful. Just keep them out of my lab.
All right, Tasha. Well, guys, that's going to wrap the video up. So if you enjoyed it, please remember to like, subscribe, hit the bell notifications so all of our new videos are coming out. And as always, guys, thanks for watching.